You're driving through the darkness thinking, wow, I can't really make out a whole lot of shapes. I'm not really sure what's around me. I don't know what's here. And things start to come into form little by little. It feels like the creative process of Mother Earth right then and there. Broad brush strokes, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what's that? Whoa, look at that.
Can you give me your best Long Island impression?
Go on, get me a coffee in a black and white. I was born in Long Island, New York. I moved out west about 10 years ago, seeking more connection with nature, and found my way to Colorado a couple of years ago for the first time. These two locales are as different as they possibly could be, and it's just a completely different sense of stimulation. Why is something valuable? I think that that varies for everybody and for everything. But eventually I realized that my why rests in a much quieter place. The San Luis Valley is incredible in the springtime when the cranes are showing up. You can feel it starting to come alive. It's like the winds of change. This place is so incredible for, I feel, the ecological diversity in such a relatively small part of Colorado. I have been an artist for my entire life, just in very different capacities. I started drawing and painting when I was in grade school. I would spend recesses in the art studio because that was my favorite place. I seek inspiration from any moment where I get to step outside of myself and connect with what I feel is the world at large and get a perspective that's different from the confines of my human brain. You can't push your motives on Mother Nature. You have to go with the flow. So I think that that's something that I'm constantly trying to convey through my artwork. This is my first time ever experiencing the cranes coming through, and it has helped me to tap more in with the spirit of the San Luis Valley than I thought would have been possible.
It's really, really amazing getting to see the cranes just sort of with their morning routine. They are still all hunkered down from the night before, and then they start to warm up, like endurance runners just getting ready for a huge day. And then as they take off into the sky, there's just this incredibly powerful collective, just like whoosh, whoosh, and you can like feel it.
You get to really experience the movements of nature in conjunction with the seasons, and I think it's a really important reminder for humans as well that it's okay to change, we need to move with nature, we need to move with the seasons. It's incredible to watch them interact with each other and to start to view them as fellow members of our society. And thinking to yourself like, well gosh, like how are they communicating with one another right now? Because it's so obvious that there's this really complex dialogue going on that I have no access to. Something I really wanted to try to communicate was this sort of dance that these guys are doing right in front of us, and also just the connection between the mountains, the water, and then the animals themselves, which is something that's really integral to my artwork all the time, is the interconnection of the environment and the creatures who call it home. I know that everyone is experiencing art from wherever they are at in life. I know that whenever I create a piece, it's a really emotional process for me, and a lot of the ways that I choose my colors, I'm like, well, if you had to put this feeling into colors, how would you do that? I know that through my brush strokes and through my analogous shapes and forms, I try to direct my viewer's eye through the painting and kind of tell a story that way. And that's definitely like a skill that I'm currently trying to hone and become better at. It's a never-ending process. I want my work to serve as a consolation in our really complex, chaotic world. I want folks to remember that there's so much beauty in this planet. Like, we are literally living in paradise if we just take a minute to appreciate it. And I want them to feel connected to it again. And I believe that emotion is the best way to do that. This is my method of communication. I love that the cranes migration brings folks of so many different walks of life to the valley, and that this is one beautiful natural event that folks can appreciate regardless of where they come from. The cranes symbolize harmony and connection and luck in several different cultures. They really do, because look at all of these people who are just bonding and coming together over this event.
I think The most incredible thing about getting to view the world through an artist's lens is when you start to appreciate all of the colors that are present in a scene like this. You've got a purple sky over there, and you've got illuminated yellow grass right there. I mean, if I were painting this right now, those are the colors that I would use.
These steel cranes are hung up all throughout the town of Monte Vista during the Monte Vista Crane Festival, and it's really just like this incredible community arts installation. Artists who are professional, high school kids, elementary school kids, everybody can participate, and all of the money that's raised from these charitable artworks are then funded right back into the community. So it's this really like beautiful positive feedback loop. When I get to spend time with someone at a local business and feel like I am genuinely appreciated for being there and for contributing to them and help fulfill their dream, getting to build them up, I love that. It's an immediate sense of ownership over one's community, giving back just by living there. I mean, that's awesome, that's the dream. And all of my artwork has been supported by small businesses. It's all human to human. It's important to think about what is the lasting impact of me here. And why is that important? Because if we lose it, we're never going to get it back. At least not in our human species lifetime as a whole. Every step that we take, tread lightly. I think that that's my #1 philosophy on living in such a fragile ecosystem. Having come from the East Coast, it's so humid there all of the time, and now living at over 8,000 feet above sea level in an extremely arid, dry climate, it is a huge difference, and it definitely reframes your focus on a luxury that, especially as Americans, we just take completely for granted. I mean, you turn on your faucet and there comes water. But out here, it's definitely, it's visible. It's scary for all of the wildlife that lives here. It's scary for farmers whose entire business, family support for them and their kids is reliant on the climate and on weather patterns. So it's definitely at the forefront of everyone's focus here and something that we're constantly trying to work with and work around. I want people to remember that we are not separate from nature. So I think that that's the best way to feel like a sense of stewardship over a place. That's my fellow citizen. That's someone that I need to help and support the same way that I support my local small businesses. We're sharing this beautiful community together. It's incredible the well of inspiration that can come from this place that you didn't even know existed. It's infinite. And whether you've been here all of your life or whether you're just showing up like myself, the event never loses its magic. And I think that regardless of who you are or where you come from, it's impossible not to connect with that on a really soulful level.